Hello my beautiful people. Welcome back to Gist and Smile TV. Today's gist is one of those stories that will make you pause, think, and maybe even nod in agreement. Because what we are about to talk about is not just celebrity gist, it's a full-blown lesson on power, reputation, and the quiet strength that comes with knowing when not to talk. Yes, my people, we're talking about Pearl Wats, and how silence has completely changed her story online. You know how social media used to be every day, every hour, every minute, Pearl this, Pearl that. Everywhere you turn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, her name was trending. Sometimes for things she said, sometimes for things she didn't even do. The dragging was endless. Every post she made was picked apart, every move she made was analyzed like it was a government decision. But lately, something surprising has happened. The noise has reduced. The internet that once couldn't stop talking about her suddenly seems to have taken a deep breath and relaxed. At first, it looked small, fewer harsh comments, fewer viral drags. But when you look deeper, you realize that what's happening is a complete shift in how the audience, the algorithm, and even the fans themselves now relate to Pearl. You see, social media thrives on reaction. The more people respond, the more the system amplifies it. But when people stop reacting, the system moves on. It's like a fire, if no one keeps feeding it with fresh wood, it burns out quietly. And that's exactly what happened with Pearl's name. The dragging lost momentum. The energy that fueled those angry threads died down. Now, instead of a storm of insults, we have stretches of quiet. Those quiet moments matter, my people, because they reshape how people think. When the outrage stops being rewarding, people lose interest in keeping it alive. The result. Pearl's name, once associated with noise, slowly becomes tied to calmness. That's what we call a digital rebirth. And you know what's even more fascinating? Pearl didn't achieve this by posting a long note, crying on live, or doing interviews to clear the air. No. She simply went quiet. She stopped engaging, stopped explaining, and let the silence do the heavy lifting. That silence became her strategy. In the world of constant oversharing, silence suddenly became her superpower. When she withdrew, the internet felt her absence. It's funny, when someone is constantly in the spotlight, people feel like they know them. They comment, they judge, they drag. But when that person suddenly disappears or reduces their visibility, curiosity replaces criticism. People start to ask, wait, what's she up to, instead of, why did she say that? That small shift from outrage to curiosity is what begins the healing process of a public image. Some fans even think Pearl learned this master move from another queen of quiet power, Sonia Uche. Or, Sonia. We all know Sonia is the definition of grace under pressure. No matter what rumor or controversy floats around her, she rarely engages. Instead, she lets her success speak. She keeps working, keeps glowing, and keeps winning. Her silence over the years has turned into a trademark, one that says, I'm too focused to fight. And it seems Pearl has picked a page from that book. When she started keeping quiet, people immediately noticed. This looks like Sonia's pattern, they said. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Because Sonia's method works. The less you engage, the more you control your narrative. The fewer battles you pick, the more peace you enjoy. Now, whether Pearl consciously copied Sonia or just found her own peace naturally, the result is the same, a strategic transformation. She went from reactive to deliberate. From always trending to gracefully focused. That's how online energy shifts. Once people see calmness, they mirror it. Fans start behaving differently. Instead of attacking others in her defense, they respond with dignity. The whole fanbase slowly becomes calmer and more mature. That, right there, is power. Not loud power. Quiet power. Let's be honest, silence isn't just avoidance, it's strategy. When you don't respond to every rumor, you deny it oxygen. Gossip thrives on attention. If you ignore it, it eventually suffocates. And when Pearl did that, something magical happened. The conversations around her changed. Instead of dissecting every word she said, people began talking about her work, her outfits, and her new projects. That's not coincidence, that's redirection. By refusing to feed negativity, Pearl forced the algorithm to find new things to highlight. And guess what it found? Her talent. Her focus. Her growth. Slowly, her posts began to trend again, but this time for the right reasons. And fans noticed the difference. Before, people used to storm her comment section just to argue. Now, they come to celebrate her. They talk about how come she's become, how different she seems, how much more mature her vibe is. That kind of public language change means something real is happening. Because when critics soften their tone, you know the rebranding is working. But here's the trick, silence alone doesn't fix everything. It only works when you pair it with consistent, quality output. You can't disappear and do nothing. You must give the public something better to talk about. And Pearl has been doing just that, shifting her focus toward her work. Her posts now feel intentional. Her projects seem more polished. You can literally feel the difference in how she presents herself. And that's why this new, compiled narrative is catching on. People love a redemption story, especially one that feels earned. When they see someone learn from their past and move with grace, it gives them a reason to root for that person again. Another thing, this calmness hasn't only changed Pearl's image, it's changed her whole fanbase. Before, her supporters were always ready for battle. They'd jump into comment sections, clap back at trolls, and end up fueling the drama they were trying to stop. But now, they've learned restraint. Many of them say, no need to reply. Pearl's peace will speak for itself. And truly, that silence has become louder than any argument. That new kind of energy attracts a different kind of audience, one that values peace and consistency. It also attracts brands. Because let's face it, companies prefer associating with calm, composed, and strategic individuals. So, in many ways, Pearl's silence isn't just protecting her, it's elevating her. People in the industry are beginning to see her differently too. Once you're no longer seen as controversial, you become a safer bet for collaborations, endorsements, and partnerships. The label shifts from problematic to professional, and that's a game changer in the entertainment world. Now, let's talk about something people often overlook, the mental benefit of silence. Constant online conflict is draining, not just for the celebrity, but also for their audience. Every time there's a new drama, people get emotionally involved. They argue, defend, attack, and before you know it, everyone is tired. But when calmness becomes the new norm, that exhaustion fades. Pearl's peace has restored balance, not just to her public image, but to her emotional world too. And there's another layer to this gist, the power of mystery. When someone who used to talk a lot suddenly becomes selective with words, every statement they make afterward feels heavier, more meaningful. That's exactly what's happening with Pearl now. Her silence has made her presence more valuable. People no longer expect her to speak every day. So when she finally does, it feels special. That's how power works, scarcity increases value. Even brands notice this. They want to work with someone who doesn't overexpose themselves. They want someone who represents calm authority. That's what Pearl is becoming, a figure of quiet strength, not constant chaos. And it's not just her alone, the ripple effect is spreading. Other celebrities are now taking notes. They're realizing that you don't have to clap back at every insult or rumor. Silence can be a statement. In fact, silence can be your best PR move. Managers, agents, and even social media strategists are now advising their clients to choose battles wisely. The industry is learning from Pearl's evolution that calmness is the new charisma. This shift also says something about us, the audience. We are getting smarter too. We are learning that not every provocation deserves a reaction. The more we ignore unnecessary drama, the less it grows. And that's why the digital atmosphere feels lighter lately. People are choosing peace over pettiness. Funny enough, the less Pearl talks, the more people respect her. That's the paradox of silence. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, people assume you have control. Silence becomes confidence. And confidence attracts admiration. Now, When Pearl posts, she doesn't have to shout. Her calm energy speaks volumes. And that's why I say, my people, silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's knowing that not every noise deserves your attention. It's choosing to focus on what actually builds you. And for Pearl, that choice is paying off beautifully. The dragging has reduced. The trolls have lost interest. Her fans are more focused. The industry sees her in a better light. Her content feels refined. And her overall image has transformed from the girl everyone talks about to the woman everyone respects. This, right here, is how you rebuild a brand, not with long apologies or dramatic interviews, but with consistent calmness and quiet excellence. So maybe the old saying is true after all, silence really is golden. Not because words don't matter, but because knowing when to speak gives your voice more power. Pearl has mastered that art, and her story is now a case study in reputation recovery. She didn't erase her past, she simply outgrew it. And that, my friends, is the kind of comeback that lasts. So as we wrap up today's gist, here's the lesson: not every battle deserves your energy. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is no move at all. Let time, growth, and consistency do the talking. And Pearl Wats. She's living proof that when the noise fades, respect remains. That's all for today's gist, my people. If you enjoyed this story, drop your thoughts below. Do you think silence really works better than confrontation in the celebrity world? Let's talk about it. Till next time, stay calm, stay kind, and always choose peace. Gist and Smile TV, signing out. Dizzy.